Today we have one of the coolest pieces of technology in the piano world. It's the RS2 system from Kawai. We'll be looking at the K500. We'll be playing a synthesizer through the soundboard. It's going to be incredible. Stick around. We have a very cool video on the RS2 from Kawai.
Hi, this is Ted with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channels, check out our other videos, sign up for notifications, like our videos, leave us comments. We appreciate the support and we love to interact with you. Before we get into this amazing Kawai K500 RS2, and by the way, if you haven't ever played one of these or seen one or heard about one, you're in for a treat. If you like how it sounds, how it operates, we encourage you to go check one out. We have some Kawai piano galleries around the country that will showcase the RS2 system. If you're in Michigan, if you're in the Detroit area, there's Bloomfield Hills there, Traverse City up in the Upper Peninsula. We have St. Louis and Kansas City in Missouri and Kansas, respectively. And we have Ohio, if you're in Columbus or Cleveland, Kawai piano galleries there as well. So go play one. They're incredible. They're a treat. And
they're a lot of fun.
They're fun to mess around with. Before we get into the nitty gritty of it, we want to bring a piano fact. That's something we start every video with now. And so the piano fact.
This one comes from you through our St. Louis store because they called.
There's an incredible piano that we are getting that's a rich piece of piano history that I was unaware that this invention existed, but when you think about modern piano inventions, what will stick, what will be lost with time, floppy drives are something that will be lost with time on piano
rolls too,
and piano rolls. But this is technology from the late 19th century. I believe it ran from 1882 to 1902. And it was done by a manufacturer who is kind of known for pushing the envelope in that time frame on what a piano could be. Mason and Hamlin, an American company. It's called a screw stringer. And we're going to show pictures because this is very unique. And when you look at where your pin block should be, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. And the first time I heard about it, I read it years and years ago and just completely forgot about it because I thought no one's making those anymore. I'll never see one. I'll never encounter one. And then about 3 years ago, when we first started getting active in our piano department, they came up and said, "Hey, do you know what a screw stringer is?" I said, "Yeah, that's one that tunes weird. It takes a different tool, and it's a different way to do it, and you have to be a lot more patient and tune." Just from what I read and what I knew about it, I said, "I've never seen one, but I know they look different and it's kind of fascinating."
Yeah, and you see, from the research that I was doing, you see uprights more than you see grands. But the one that we're actually going to be getting in our St. Louis store, which is going to be really unique, it might be one of the most rare pianos, just because based on
that we've ever had
what it is. It's basically the concept of, instead of having tuning pins, it was a system created to improve tuning stability and the way a piano's tuned. And so it basically has screws, even though it's like its own tool, but you basically screw in where the string attaches. It loops over a hook, and it's tied between the pin on the end and the screw pin. And so there's no pin block, there's no tuning pins. It's all done through basically a screwdriver. And the technology only existed then. There are people who are enthusiasts who collect these and who have a near and dear place in their heart for it.
They claim they stay tuned for years.
Yeah, they say it's a better tuning solution, and I'm curious if the solution, because it washed out, I don't know if it's like lots of technology sometimes just gets.
A lot of times, I think it's two things. Other manufacturers are not interested in it, and it doesn't look like it's going to push the main type of system out. It may be an improvement, but if its labor is more expensive and the cost of manufacture is more expensive, and then it's more detailed to treat afterwards, it's gonna probably fall to the wayside.
So this one that we are getting has been completely restored, which is cool. So me or Ted are going to go up and we're going to do a video
really
on it.
Novelty. Yeah, they're really like a great novelty thing for piano tuners to say, I've done one before.
So make sure you're subscribed because we will be doing a video on it, and it'll be interesting to see the mechanism, how it works, and how it sounds, because this one's completely restored and looks amazing. We're excited for it. But behind us, we have an equally cool piece of technology that is so modern that it's almost hard to describe how cool it is.
This is the best of both worlds.
So we have the K500, which is by itself a fantastic instrument from Kawai, one of their most popular uprights because it is the mid-level professional instrument that they have in their upright series, the K series. But it has the RS2 on it, which is their silent transducer technology. And so we'll get into all what that means. But the K500 by itself is just a booming piano, 51-inch. It's when you look at the K series, the K300 here in America is made in Japan. The K500 is the big brother. You start seeing bigger upgrades on it. The Neotex keys, both on the ebonies and the ivories. The Neotex key tops, the Millennium 3 Action, you get longer keys as you move up in the series. The bigger box, 51 inches again, 130 centimeters.
Moving a bigger soundboard too.
Bigger soundboard, bigger area.
Duplex scaling in the top end.
Yeah, they have duplex scaling. And so explain duplex scaling for layman terms.
Duplex scaling is where there's a speaking length at a string, and where the speaking length stops, the side front, the string, at the tuning pen end is the same length and balance to the side of the string that goes in around the hook where it's around. And there's usually like a little type of jack or almost like a fret or an additional nut that goes over it. And so those are balanced out, and they're theoretically, if the piano's big enough, you can kind of hear the tuning in those as well.
The overtone, right? Yeah, you could pick it and hear.
And so what it does is it supposedly make the piano's vibrating, singing, speaking length a lot more pure because it's balanced on both ends, and so that all the overtones and the harmonies, supposedly tuning the unisons, would be a lot easier because you can hear those things stand out.
Yeah, so the K500 again is very highly chosen for people looking for, the speaking length of the bass strings is right there at the same length as like a baby grand piano. So you're getting, the bass section is going to be just as loud, if not louder, than a baby grand, especially when it's placed against a wall. Your soundboard on a piano like this is larger than a baby grand soundboard because there's no curve in the instrument. It's a big box, big square. So you get a lot of volume out of it. Sostenuto pedal, which is nice on this piano. Actually, it's not. That's on the K800. This one has
the 800 has a sostenuto.
Yeah, this
pedal. This has the silent.
The silent pedal.
And then also it has there's a practice mute in it, but I think the practice mute uses a different mechanism than the pedal because the pedal actually stops the hammers from hitting the strings.
Yes.
Which reminds me that on the demo, we should talk about how we did the demo because there's a microphone set up behind the soundboard, and all of the sound came through the soundboard. But most of the demo that I do is almost purely digital piano coming out of the soundboard. So a lot of the pianos are going to sound pretty much the same or different, but they're going to be a different setting for like the SK. Then there's the concert, the grand, the jazz. So I went through that, and I did play the uprights because someone mentioned in comments, you guys only test the grand piano samples. You never test the uprights.
So let's talk about the RS system. The RS system is, again, their silent system, but also a system that can play digital technology through an acoustic speaker, which is our soundboard. So we're looking at this, the very large soundboard on a K500, and the whole thing has 4 transducers on it. So it's pushing sound to the soundboard, and the soundboard's coming alive with digital sound. So when we play electric piano on this, we're not playing this through like an audio jack where we're pulling the sound off of it and you're getting a digital sound. We're actually performing it through the soundboard. The soundboard's vibrating, and we're taking the sound off of the soundboard, and we're bringing that to you guys as a mic'd up system. Something that we all are going to also do, and we mentioned this in the beginning, is we're going to play a synthesizer through the audio in on the box. So, just very simple audio in, and we're going to push the synthesizer. It's a Juno 6. We're going to push that sound source through the speaker on the back. So you'll be hearing the analog synthesizer through an analog speaker, which is your acoustic soundboard.
And then I used the acoustic piano with string and choir, string settings, and the real true Kawai, the K500. You actually hear the stringed piano with digital strings behind it, and then also with electric pianos on it.
Yeah, so we're going to take a listen to it right here. But yes, there's going to be a combination of the piano playing with the sound source being amplified off of the soundboard, and we will intermittently cut out the acoustic piano, which is something that you do by activating the middle pedal. So when you activate that middle pedal, it allows the hammer to work, the hammering mechanism to work, but it never make contact with the string, so that you're getting the full action, but you're getting the sound source of an electric piano or an organ or strings. And then if you wanted to, you can have it activate both the string and the sound source.
Digital, right.
So you can, like Ted was saying, you can have the acoustic piano play with strings. So let's take a listen to all that. There's going to be a lot. We'll have text there to help you guys through it. But it's going to sound really cool. The synthesizer is my favorite part because it's the Juno 6 going through a giant soundboard. Let's take a listen. We'll come back and we'll talk about the RS2 a little bit more when it comes to technology capabilities.
Well, Patrick, I picked through just some of the generic sounds that are kind of on the sound card. There's a whole all the sounds that are on the sound card are phenomenal. I love this combination of digital piano with analog action and an analog piano, and then you can put one in one together or strings and one in the other. And what you did with the Juno was pretty cool. And I wanted to mention one thing I don't think I've ever mentioned when I've talked about these Aures is that it does have MIDI connections in and out. So what you did, you could actually do the other way backwards too, right?
And we've done this before on when we first got an Aures system. This is the RS2 when we were looking at the original Aures on a K500, and we have a video of that. There was a Jupiter 8 that we used, and so what we decided to do was use the MIDI capability of the K500. And so what you can do is basically control the synthesizer's keys and trigger off the samples through the acoustic piano. So imagine playing the keys like you are, it's triggering off the Jupiter, then you can run the sound source back to the Aures and the sound will come off of the soundboard.
It's a great playing controller. It's a real piano.
And so that's, this is, I think this is a studio's dream to have something like this where it adds a sound element that you wouldn't otherwise have. It's adding complexity to the recording process and adding an extra layer of saying, hey, what if we ran the guitar through the soundboard on a piano?
I was just thinking, I did not run an acoustic guitar sound through this soundboard.
We're gonna mess around with it. We're gonna mess around with it out once we move it back out there because it's pretty fun.
That's got to sound like a big guitar.
It's gonna be cool.
And I don't know why I didn't think of that.
So the Aures system, it's all controlled through your phone. So in previous generations, they did have a cheek block screen, but I think it was to keep the costs down. They said, hey, people control everything with their phone. So this is done through the Piano Remote app from Kawai. You can download and you can take a look at what the features are on that. It is a free app, but it won't connect to an instrument. It can go into demo mode so you can see the instruments that you do have access to. You're able to do a lot of fun things on there, like change the piano sound. You're able to go through what they call piano technician or a virtual technician and change responsiveness, change the touch curves, change the resonance, and do all that while manipulating an acoustic sound because it's coming through an acoustic speaker. It's got a ton of great features. If you've seen any of our videos on the CA series, the 901 or the 701, the previous generation, the 99 and the 79, we've highlighted that technology pretty in depth, but you're able to go through, and we have a video on the Piano Remote as well, but you're able to go through and change sounds, add effects, go through, record.
Customize all your settings.
You really have access to a lot. So this is really combining the best of the digital world with the best of the acoustic world and giving you something that I think is very unique, especially when you use the word hybrid. Mm-hmm. It's a thrown around term a lot, but this is truly a full acoustic instrument with a lot of digital features where, this is the best MIDI controller you can have because it's a digital piano.
It's a real piano.
So
it's
just
real action.
A very cool instrument. Back in your day, did you think they would ever have anything this cool?
No, this was something even beyond dreaming. I remember I thought it would be really cool if you had something that played 4 or 6 notes at a time. Mm-hmm. That was, polyphonic, but the sounds were like almost real, and not, I mean, not like a Mellotron reel, but not like a sample reel, because those kind of got, when they first came out, they were kind of boxy sounding, but now the sounds are just so good. You have to have some kind of really great controller over that, so you can individually get certain notes louder than others.
So this is what we're going to try. We're going to try acoustic guitar, holding down the damper pedal, strumming, so it sets off other frequencies on the strings. That'll be kind of cool. But if you've had the opportunity to play an RS, if you've seen the technology, there's a similar Yamaha unit, the Trans Acoustic. If you've had the opportunity to play these hybrids, please leave comments. Talk about the cool things that you've done with it.
One more real positive thing. We've sold a number of these units, and they've gone to families and homes where
this one sold yesterday, but we got permission to shoot a video on it.
We've sold a number of these in grand piano form and in the upright form, and it has been a lifesaver in almost every house that has purchased one of these, because there's usually more than at least one person in each household that cannot stand to hear piano more than an hour or two a day. And if you have 4 or 5 children, like some of those families took in, then putting headphones on and playing has been a major relief in their day-to-day life, just for practicing. And the students are just thrilled, because they can play as much as they want and not have to feel bad about bothering the rest of the house.
They can have headphones on.
I lived with that for a long time, and it was an impossibility until I got a Fender Rhodes and could plug in headphones.
And so they're getting the great action of an upright piano like a K500, which is professional level action, with the capability of practicing in a silent mode where they can be with themselves, they can go through different sound effects, they can record, they can kind of learn more about music personally instead of projecting. If their house is full of people doing...
Well, this is one of these magical musical instruments that you're thrilled and happy to have in the display and to sell. And what's really thrilling is that people call back in the store and say, I can't tell you how much that instrument has made a difference in our life, and how much better our lives are, and how much better the children are playing. And it's really, I know we sell high quality products, but it's not every day that people call back and give you a report like hey, this is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Everything that you told us was going to happen has happened in here.
It's a very cool instrument. The RS2 system adds about $6,000 MSRP to it. So K500 MSRP is around $16,000. This is around $22,000 MSRP. But yeah, just a fantastic instrument. If you've had the pleasure of playing one, if you've owned one, please leave comments. We really enjoy reading about people's experience with them. The RS2 system is available on the little brother, the K300. It's also available on a GL30, their 5'5" grand, and the GX2, their 5'11", their GX series, their black series from Kawai. It is also available special order on other pianos, but those are kind of their standard line that include the RS2 if you want that as an option. Please leave comments. Talk about what you think would be cool coming through the sound system. I think it would be cool to have an acoustic guitar playing through there.
I haven't sang through one yet.
So we're gonna experiment with this more, but we'll update you if there's anything cool that we find. But really, just a unique instrument with a lot of capability, and I really think for a studio or for a curious mind, this is something that can really encourage somebody to make some creative choices and record some really cool music. Thank you guys for watching. Ted Barslew, I'm Patrick Marr. We're here in San Antonio, but again, we have Kawai piano galleries around the country. Please go check out an RS2 system, K300, K500, GX2. They're all great, but it's a lot of fun to go and experiment and see what modern technology can be like on an acoustic instrument. Thanks for watching.